Hi, my name is Jenna Simon. You are watching and reading celebrity interviews, and this interview is for Jacqueline. I started acting when I was about 15 or 16, but didn't really pursue it as much until about a year ago. I grew up a dancer. I was dancing about 40 hours a week at a professional ballet school, and the first time I ever started acting was as I started to perform with the studio. My very first acting role I got when I was about 15 years old with American Repertory Ballet. I was given the role of young Clara in The Nutcracker. And I loved it so much. And then I went on to do that for 3 years after that, my sophomore, junior, and senior year of high school. My favorite part about acting is that you really get to experience things that you otherwise would never get the chance to experience. So each day you get to go in, you get to be a new person, maybe have a different hair, different look, and you get to portray a message to a bunch of viewers that you might not otherwise get to say. So it's really challenging, but it's also a wonderful experience. I think one of the things that's most challenging about acting is that you really need to be very confident in yourself, and you need to, know and be comfortable with yourself so that you can really properly portray somebody else. And sometimes it's hard when there's a lot of crew people and a lot of people looking at you to feel confident enough to give such a good performance, especially with things that are more emotional or scenes where you need to really dig deep in yourself to find what you need to give to the scene, and that can be hard. My first real time on a set, my first real acting project was actually I was a screaming little girl for Law and Order SVU, and that was about 6 or 7 years ago. I was almost 18 playing a 10 to 12-year-old. And then about half a year ago, I recorded a voiceover commercial for The Littlest Pet Shop, which is currently running on Cartoon Network, Teen Nick, and I think it was running on Nickelodeon originally, but it's not anymore. It's like 7, 8 months old now. So, and then recently I shot in June an episode of Mysteries at the Museum. And I'm in two segments. One is for the Annabelle doll segment, where I played a young girl that brings home this like possessed doll into her house, and the doll, wreaks havoc all over the place. And then in a different segment, I played a little 13-year-old Puritan girl, and I got to lay on the floor and have actually a seizure for about 10 minutes. So during a Salem witch trial segment. So that actually aired in October and is running on the Travel Channel right now. And I just booked a starring role playing the younger version of the starring character, Angel Brown, in the new box office film Together for Change. So I go out to South Carolina in the beginning of February to film the promo trailer, and then full production will start after that. My experience with voiceover work is actually semi-limited. When I got a new commercial agent, they sent me out on my first ever voiceover audition, and I went in and I really had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I walked in, I didn't even know where the mic was. I was like, oh my God, this is scary. I don't know what I'm doing. And I just started, delivering the lines. And it was for a Littlest Pet Shop commercial, and I had to sound 10 to 12, and I was like, I wonder how I'm going to do that. And so I just, tried, and they kept correcting me and kept telling me, try it this way, or, oh, try it that way. And I really thought I was doing not a good job. And then I got the call the next day that said that I booked it. So I was so excited. And when I went in and recorded it, I had the time of my life. It was one of the best experiences that I've ever had. And so I kind of decided from that point on that it was something that I would want to pursue in the future. Okay, hands down, it would 100% be Katrina Johnson. First of all, she's an amazing actress. She's super funny. She can also sing, which I totally can't do, so I admire that a lot. And I mean, more than just being really talented, she's a really down-to-earth person and really, really, really sweet. Like, she's always talking to me right now. She's been really supportive of my career. And, that's just the type of person that I would really want to work with. I feel like being on a set with her, I would learn so much, not only just from, watching her act and watching her on set, like just from being around her. I feel like I could learn a lot, and she would be the type of person that I would really want to spend my time on set with, because, she'd probably be funny, she'd be enjoyable, she'd be supportive, of what I'm doing and what everybody else is doing. And I just feel like it would be a really out of this world experience to be able to work with her. My inspirations kind of change from time to time, but currently my biggest inspirations are probably Sophia Bush from One Tree Hill, Katrina Johnson, Angelique Bates, Elisa Reyes, Brittany Snow, who I've worked with on Law & Order SVU, and that's probably about it. Those are the people that I really look up to and, strive to be like as far as coming out in this business is concerned. Currently, I just wrapped a project for a short film called Blood Wash, where I played a young vampire, which was really fun. That's being released in a theater on Long Island and then in select theaters everywhere else, I think the end of December. So I have that coming up. And then in the winter time, in February, as I said before, I have my big box office film, Together for Change, will start filming then. So I'm really excited about both of those films. My advice for anybody that would want to be going into acting as a career would really just be to never give up, because the business is really, really, really hard, especially to break into. And even after you've broken in, it's still hard because there are just so many more factors than just being talented. Like sometimes you go in on an audition for a commercial where they're casting a family. This has happened to me a bunch of times. And you go in and they're casting a family, so you could be the most talented person there, but if everybody else that they pick has blonde hair and you have dark hair, you're probably not going to book that. So it's not always about talent, and it's not always about what you did right or what you did wrong. Sometimes, it's about other things. So you really just need to keep biting the bullet and keep doing it, because you'll hear no so many more times than you'll hear yes. But then when you do get that yes and you do hear that, it makes having heard no that many times totally worth it. I actually have two favorite past TV shows. It's a big tie. The first one is All That from Nickelodeon, and the second one is Friends. I absolutely love both of those shows, and they're both still on just really late at night, and I'm always staying up late to watch both of them. My favorite current TV show would have to be Once Upon a Time on ABC. I think it's had like 3 or 4 episodes, and I don't normally get hooked onto new TV shows right now. I'm just really, really busy, but I'm totally hooked onto Once Upon a Time. If I was stuck in a TV show, I think it would probably have to be Wizards of Waverly Place from the Disney Channel, because I think it would be a ton of fun to sit there and watch everybody do magic all the time and to learn how to do magic and see things happen that you would never see in real life happen. So I think that that's where I would want to be stuck. My favorite past movie would probably have to be Uptown Girls or Man on Fire. I used to be a huge Dakota Fanning fan. I still am, but I loved her a lot when she was little. And I really liked Man on Fire. Both her and Denzel Washington were phenomenal in that movie. And I really liked Uptown Girls because I just thought the movie was so cute and the story was adorable. And I miss Brittany Murphy, and I thought she was really great in that movie as well as Dakota. Like many other people at this current time, the last movie that I saw in the movie theater was Breaking Dawn Part 1. My favorite Disney princess is definitely Belle, and has been since I was little. And when I was little, the reason was because she had brown hair like me, and most of the other Disney princesses all had blonde hair except for Snow White, who had really, really dark hair. So Belle was always my favorite growing up, and she's still my favorite. One thing that I cannot live without is black raspberry flavored ice cream. Now everyone's probably thinking that's a really weird flavor ice cream. Every time I go into the parlor to try to get that put in a milkshake, people always look at me like I'm strange because it's not a very common flavored ice cream, but it's definitely my favorite, and I probably have it a couple times a week. I could not live without black raspberry ice cream. I used to have a pet. I used to have a little toy poodle who was red, and her name was Lucy, and we named her after Lucille Ball, of course. But she passed away actually in June when I was on set of Mysteries at the museum, and it was kind of sad, and I miss her, but maybe we'll get a new dog sometime. But yeah, I used to have a pet, but not anymore. My favorite restaurant is definitely Olive Garden. I'm like obsessed with their salad dressing. I totally think that they should sell it in like grocery stores. They should package it up and sell it in grocery stores because it's the best salad dressing in the entire world. And I'm pretty boring as far as food is concerned when I'm there. I usually just get like a plain pasta with red sauce, but I love the salad and the salad dressing and the breadsticks. That's my favorite place to go. A soundtrack to my life would actually probably be the song Skyscraper by Demi Lovato. Just because I'm pretty tough and I know what I want and I know what my goals are, and I'll stop at absolutely nothing to get to where I want to be. So nothing usually can get in my way. When people tell me, no, you can't, or you're not good enough to do that, or that's not what you should be doing, I always actually feel even more triumphant and more strong. And I just want to be able to say to them, you know, you're wrong. You're just wrong. So I usually don't take the easy way out. I'd rather have something be hard and actually get to where I want to be while it's hard, because then I feel, accomplished. So that would probably be the soundtrack for my life. For charities that are close to my heart, it's actually a tie between two, because I had one favorite charity before, and then I recently got close to somebody that has Turner syndrome. So I've been doing a lot of research about the Turner Syndrome Society and the things that they do, and I'm helping my friend plan an event, so that's become pretty close to my heart in the past couple of weeks. But before that, I was very excited about the new movement that Brittany Snow started called Love is Louder. It's a message that she started this movement, and it speaks out for kids that are either depressed or being bullied or struggling. And she basically used her voice, which is a very prominent voice in society right now because she's a huge actress, to tell kids that it gets better, and you don't, suicide is not the answer. Bullying is not a good thing to be doing. People should be supporting each other and loving each other. And I just thought that it was a great way to use a powerful voice, somebody that's very prevalent in society that people know, people are influenced by them. And I just thought it was a really great thing for her to do. And I follow it on Twitter. I research about it, and, I try to help any way that I can to promote the message. A quote that is one of my favorites is pretty well known. It's, "Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get." And the reason it's one of my favorite quotes is because I think it's one of those things that's actually very true. And I think about it a lot because, especially with auditioning, you go and you audition and then you don't get a part, or you go and you audition and you do get a part. And just with everything, even in, everyday life, things are not always in your control, and you can't always change the way something is going to come out, but you can change the way you look at it, and you can change your outlook for the future. You can think positively, or you can help other people think positively. So I always think about that quote because it reminds me that I don't have control so much over what happens, but that I do have control over how I look at it, and how I talk to other people, the things that I take in and the things that I don't take in. And so that's one of my favorite quotes.